going on, guys? It's Khushi and we're back with a new video. So recently we went to Goa to shoot a music video. I'm super happy about it because that was one of my goals of 2022 to travel and shoot a music video, and that being completed was a dream come true for this year. That was basically my only goal. I didn't keep anything super unrealistic or super crazy. It was just one simple goal, and that got completed before the end of the year. So this style of filmmaking is essentially called run and gun filmmaking because you are just running around and shooting without any stops, and it's a super fast and hectic environment. So the first thing that we did was, even before going for the shoot, was here at home was packing only what we need, the essentials. Basically being not carrying anything extra that would have been a could be and we might need this. No, only the things that we are absolutely sure we need. For example, I didn't take a mic because I knew I wouldn't need a mic on this shoot. I weren't recording any audio that would be used in the final production. Next, for the cameras. Cameras are basically the most important part of this because we are going to use them to shoot. So we bought two cameras, the R5C as our main shooter and the R6 along with us as a backup shooter, just in case this ran out of battery or we weren't able to use this in any situation. I knew with the R6, with that backup, we would be able to pull off similar results just in case we weren't able to use the main camera. Next, lenses. So we bought almost all our lenses, not everything we own, but we bought what we usually use on a daily basis. So the first, which is my favorite and most used lens, was the 50mm. Next was the 35mm, both prime lenses for the shallow depth of field. Thirdly, we bought the 24-105. The reason for that being is I wanted to get a lot of telephoto shots with a blurred out background. We were also considering the 70-200, but instead we didn't get it and bought the 24-105 in its place. And what else? I got the drone, the batteries, the remote, and the chargers of all of that. Oh yeah, how can I forget? The gimbal. I have a Zhiyun Crane 2, which is a pretty old gimbal and you can't fold it and all, so I was like just had it in my hand the whole time, like just walking around with the gimbal, which was a bit annoying, but it's alright. It helped me just start shooting faster. I just took the camera out, slid it on there and started shooting. So there's a pro and con to that. The next thing is knowing your gear inside out. What does that mean essentially is, I imagine if I have my R5C in my hand right now, I don't have to think. I can just take the camera. I know if I go like this, it'll change ISO. I can change my aperture like this, shutter speed like this. Just knowing that, I don't even have to think while shooting. It just happens naturally. I see that, okay, the shot's overexposed, decrease the ISO, increase the shutter speed. It's not stable enough, press the lens stabilization button. Because we are in such a fast-paced moving environment, you don't have the time to just think. You just have to do. Knowing your gear inside out, like everything from the basics. I'm just giving you a very old example. I remember when I first got my gimbal, there's some knob on the front side of it and I used to attach it the opposite way. So every time I used to try and slide the gimbal, it used to hit the knob. It was because I didn't know my gear well and I didn't know that that knob needed to face the lens side of the camera, not the back side. After trying and error and doing it again and again, now it's just, I know when I'm putting the gimbal plate on, that knob has to face the lens. Things like this, knowing your equipment and how to use it. Okay, the third thing is pre-production. I haven't done a lot of pre-production for a lot of my shoots in the past. Like usually a client approaches me, they're like, this is the idea. I'm like, okay, we could just go shoot to somewhere place that looks like this and some place that looks like this, and later on in post we'll do something like this, and if we don't have enough data we can go and do this later on, which is not a real professional approach, and I've slowly been trying to change that and doing a lot of pre-production lately. So for this shoot, it was a new city for us first of all. So the first things first was get the locations. So I listed out a bunch of locations on Google, like I searched for 15-20 minutes and I just wrote everything I saw. Next, I mapped them out in the sense that I marked each location. I saved them on Google Maps. I looked at all of them, how far each locations were from each other. Next, me and the team, we had a Zoom call and we discussed each of the locations, and based on what the theme and vibe of the video we wanted was, we shortlisted a few locations. Then from that shortlist, I basically created a route from where we are staying to all of the locations. I created this route which basically just helped us stay on schedule and have the most of our time and accomplish the most. And it really helped because our stay, we would go to location A, from location A we'll go to location B. By the time we are done with location B, it will be about 11:30, 12. So from location B, I saw a bunch of restaurants and cafes that were close by beforehand only, and we used that data and we were able to basically have a really smooth experience, as in nothing was hectic or last minute, and it was super organized, which made me look more professional, and the client was also happy because nothing was stressed full for them. Everything was planned out and we were going according to the plan. Pre-production is super important, and I have neglected it, and this time when I put the efforts and time in for pre-production, I think the results speak for itself, because the client was super happy with how smooth everything went, and even I wasn't stressed. I knew what was happening next and nothing was all of a sudden. Next, adapting to change. This is an environment where everything's gonna happen super fast and you can't even control what happens. It could even randomly rain out of the blue. Your entire day might even be ruined. But that was very impractical for us. So this time of the year, there's very slim chances of there being rain, equipment breaking, or we're not able to go get into a place. We did have planned a few cafes that we did want to visit and shoot at, but last minute we didn't get permission, so we had to adapt to the change. We had to find another cafe. Good thing I did my pre-production and I had a list of alternatives close by. So we called them up, we asked them, can we shoot? One said no, another said yes, so we went there. And another thing that happened that was the last thing I actually expected was the remote of the drone falling in the water, which, yeah, that was pretty dumb, but it did happen, and good thing we landed the drone before that, otherwise we might have lost the drone too. But we were depending on a lot of scenic drone shots, and since we did lose the drone, that was a mishap that we couldn't do anything then, so we had to rely only on the camera shots. So then I had to make sure I took extra shots than I had planned, just in case. And the next point does go hand in hand with the last point, which is knowing where to cut corners. Sometimes you will have to make a sacrifice between, for example, two locations. There's a place called Para Road, which is quite famous in Goa, and there's a beach, I'll just say beach, and we wanted to shoot at both locations, but we ended up taking the decision of shooting at the beach instead, because the sunset was going to be really good, and I think a sunset at the beaches do look the best. Cutting this corner was totally worth it according to me, because I'm happy with the beach shots we got. Even though it wasn't the best sunset as we expected, the sunset was pretty decent. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And with that, the video comes to an end. I actually forgot to record the ending while I was there at the studio, but no worries. Thanks for watching. If you've not subscribed, do subscribe to the video, like, share, do all that stuff. Let me know what you thought, because this was a new thing for me, sharing a real life experience as I went through it, and it's just something new for you guys. Let me know what you thought of it, and if you have any ideas for new videos, do let me know. Until then, see you in a bit.